Seriously speaking, have you ever wondered what are the latest updates on Syria? 2 years have passed since the war started. Are you getting used to it? Have you become desensitized? Please.
Searching through the BBC and Amnesty International websites, I found what seems to be horrifying. The sight of refugees, rape victims, shortage of necessities and medical care. Please.
I became convinced with all my heart. My buried personal calling screamed within my soul. Screamed that I have to join a trip and help out other people for the sake of preserving what's left of humanity. Please.
The most shocking were the vast numbers. We hear figures on the news, but when you see those numbers of people spread out on a little piece of desert filled with semi-erect tents, reality hits you.
Then we met with those wounded in war. Most didn't talk and were in a state of shock. Others were numbed out by painkillers. At that moment, my life felt so insignificant compared to theirs, so superficial. And how dare I come distribute charity to those who were so valor-filled and whose only purpose at the moment was to regain his homeland or die a martyr. One arm missing man mentioned that he's just waiting for the day his index finger would start functioning for him to run away from this building and run back to Syria. That man was also half paralyzed. In the whole trip, I haven't seen any rehabilitation centers in Jordan, nor have I met with any psychologists or psychiatrists working on such an issue.
Then we saw a group of medical students, our age, and studying the same things we studied. But the difference was that some were taken to prison. Some were kicked out of their universities, then fled Syria to Jordan and are now jobless and without an education. The stories of these medical students opened up our minds to a whole spectrum of problems after the war that we were not aware of. We thought that all Syrians needed were water, food, and medical care for the wounded. Their problem is way bigger, it seems.
As part of our trip, we also went to several different hospitals in Jordan that were accommodating and treating Syrian war victims. Of course, I realized the extent of my innocence when I assumed that Syrians are without a doubt being treated for free. To my surprise, Syrians had to pay medical fees, although they were discounted. Visiting the wounded made the biggest difference to them, as most families felt that they, Syrians, were alone in this war. And one mentioned, "We are the next Palestine."
In these health centers, we found many who have stopped accommodating Syrians because they ran out of hospital beds. So we used some of our donations to buy them hospital beds, which we made sure should only be available for Syrians.
The most exciting day of the trip was when we organized a fun play day with the Syrian orphans and kids who have been separated from their families due to the war. One little boy was telling me how every kid here has at least 1 or 2 shaheeds in his family. Then the boys started bickering and fighting over who has more shaheeds in his family, as if it was something to be proud of. Flashbacks of my own family came to mind, and how our kids in Kuwait fight over who plays on the iPad. The 9-year-old boy continues by saying that he can't wait till he grows up so he can go join the army and fight bravely. His words brought a tear to my eyes, for I have never talked with kids who thought like that, who welcomed death with open hands.
I come back to Kuwait to share these stories because it's not okay to get used to this war. It is not okay to stop helping out, for every fist does really make a difference. These refugees need medical care, need rehabilitation, lack basic human needs that we as Kuwaitis have more than excess of. So please, help Syria.